Hello, and welcome to another Fast Tracks webinar. This is a weekly event that we do every Friday morning at 9 a.m. Central Standard Time. If you would like to view any of our previous recordings, you can find those at our website, goftx.com. You can go to FTX Lifeline, and then scroll down to click on webinars. And you can see all of our previous webinars there. You can also sign up to get notifications so that you're notified anytime that we do a webinar and what the topic will be. So today we will be going over the retail scan data reports and how they will affect your price book and how to avoid common rejections. So the first thing is, which manufacturers participate in the retail scan data program? So in Director, you can go to Reports, Sales Reports, and then Retail Scan Data Incentive Report. And you can see here that there's one for Philip Morris or UST, also known as Altria. We've got an ITG report, and then RJ Reynolds. So now that you know where to find them, here's a few things that we can go over. So the first thing is, what are the settings that are on the report? So let's start with RJ Reynolds. With RJ Reynolds, you'll need to always have this column 34 checked. Usually, auto flag promotion needs to be checked. Divide multi-pack discounts. Typically, the first time that you send your scan data report, we have you not select this box because it kind of depends on how your file is being read by MSA on if you need to have this selected or not. And this is an easy way that we can fix a rejection that comes across, because sometimes they want the discount amount divided up between how many packs are in the sale. Sometimes they just want it all as a total. So that's why that's an option rather than a requirement. The next one is going to be automatically FTP File. This is one that you'll need to check whenever you're not trying to generate a file to look at yourself and you want it to automatically be sent straight to MSA for them to do your reporting. If you're going to be automatically FTPing the file, you always have to have the Use FTP helper selected. And then this box is for include header. This would be if, for whatever reason, your rep needs to have the headers of the file, so the section that tells them what each column means, if they need that included in your file. I don't really know of anyone who is actually submitting their file this way. This is one of the ones that we will commonly get rejections on because they'll read that first line with all of the headers in it as supposed to be sales data, and you'll get rejected for it. So unless your rep specifically tells you your file has to include the headers, I wouldn't be checking this box. The last one is going to be create a resubmit file. And basically what this does is it will take the normal file name, which is usually like a combination of the date and your company or your chain name. And it will take that normal number and then do underscore resubmit. This was a requirement that happened in the last year or so, but you would need to check with your rep to find out for sure if they want you to use that checkbox when you're doing resubmissions of data. All right, so the next set of boxes, you will need to get that information from your rep. Usually the FTP site is going to be the same for everyone, but the username is usually some combination of numbers and your business name, and then the password is always just a random generated number, GUID. Your outlet name needs to be whatever MSA or your RJR rep tells you they have you listed under. Now, if you're not a chain, sometimes if you are a chain and sometimes they will not let you submit your data as a chain, you would need to set this up at each store so that it will automatically send, or you can manually do the report from corporate, just doing each individual store. But we do have a scheduled task that can run that will automatically send your file for you. All right. So the last section is going to be which departments do you send. Your rep can let you know for sure what is expected, but for the most part, it's going to be any cigarettes and like dip. Usually e-liquid and cigars are not included, but you would just add in all of the departments that you're going to send, and then you can hit the print button, and that will either automatically FTP it if you have it selected, or it will generate just the text file for you to view. One thing I recommend doing after you get this set up for the first time and you have all your credentials entered in and you've got your department selected, I would add it as a favorite because that will make it so you don't have to come in and do this every time. You could just go to your favorites and see the report is already put together for you. All you have to do is come to your favorites, open, and then increment the date to whatever it's supposed to be and hit submit. So RJ Reynolds is they are sent, or RJ Reynolds and ITG need their data, the sales data, to be Monday through Sunday. So just make sure that when you're choosing your dates here with Director, it's automatically the first time you open it, it's going to be set with a Monday through Sunday date, and it's typically the previous week's worth of information. All right, let's go back to the retail report. Okay, so Philip Morris, well, hang on, let me go look at this. ITG is the exact same settings as RJ Reynolds. We have a few customers that have to submit a report just for ITG, but most of our clients, their ITG report is they get their information from the RJ Reynolds report, so they'll get paid out from both of them, just doing one submission. So you'll just need to check with your MSA rep to find out for sure how yours should be set up. But we do have a few people that have to submit an RJ Reynolds report, and they submit a separate ITG report that have different username and password information. All right, so then Philip Morris. So a couple of things that you probably always need to have checked. You always need to have checked the generate Philip Morris data and the generate UST data. Pretty much always, I would say include loyalty unless your account for whatever reason is set up to not doing any of the loyalty transactions. So that would be like the 2-pack specials and things that are funded by Marlboro. The next one is generate Aom data. This one is, I would probably say about 80% of our customers do not submit Aom data. Aom data means all other manufacturers. So this would be like how you submit your RJ Reynolds report. RJ Reynolds sees everything in those departments that you selected on the previous report that I showed you. That's basically what this will do. If you click that button, it'll bring up the exact same window that you saw before, and you would just submit the departments that you are supposed to be submitting according to your rep. So you would just need to verify with your rep to find out for sure if your account is supposed to be submitting Aom data, and it seems to vary. All right, so the next checkbox would be the automatically FTP file. Again, works the exact same as what I just explained for the RJ Reynolds report. And then the use security key is, this is a back-end key. It's kind of like a GUID number. And if you submit the file and you get an immediate error message or a rejection on it for not being able to communicate, then I would select this use security key and try it again. If it still doesn't work, contact support and we'll give you some assistance. Not everyone has to use the security key, so that's why that's an option. All right, and then these are the same as what was in the RJ Reynolds report. So the FTP site is going to be, I think it's like Scan Data Insights is what they use for Philip Morris. And then the username and password will be provided to you from your rep. Same thing for the chain name. They'll let you know if whatever your chain name is registered that you need to submit under. So something else with Philip Morris that you don't see with RJ Reynolds or ITG is the account number. Again, you'll need to get that from your rep. It's usually like a 4 to 7 digit number. All right, so the FTP upload folder, that's going to go along with this information that you need to get from your rep. And then we have the loyalty codes. So I did a webinar a few weeks ago that talked a little bit more about these. If you'd like to view that, again, it's on our website. I believe it was called Changes to the Altria Scan Data Report. But these loyalty codes change once or twice a year. Usually your rep will send you an email with the information that changed. And you just need to verify that you have the correct numbers entered in here. This is a common rejection that we'll see at least one time a year because typically they're not really proactive about telling you that the loyalty UPC code has changed. So you just need to be diligent about reaching out to your rep on for sure which your UPC codes are supposed to be for the loyalty transactions. All right. So we have two new options, which are omit age verified fields and blank age verified fields. Right now, these fields are optional with the Altria report. So if you don't want to submit that information, then you can just check these boxes and it won't go, it will just put a blank in that section of the report. If you don't have it selected, then it will tell Altria a coded number on if you scanned a driver's license or if you manually entered it in the birthday for the age verified fields. And again, I did a webinar on this one a couple of weeks ago that will go more information on that if you'd like to learn more. Okay, so now that we've gone over the settings on the report, let me show you where the information is coming from on the reports and how you may need to change your price book information so that it reflects the information correctly. So the first thing is you have to go into maintenance, stores, and you need to fill in your information for your stores. So the scan data reports will pull in the store name, the store number, and the address fields. So you'll have to fill this in, otherwise you'll get rejected from your scan data because you'll have blank fields on the information. And the reason why this is required is because whenever you sign up for scan data, you give the information for your stores and they want to verify that the information that they're getting is the right sales for the right locations. So that's why you need to fill that in. All right, so then the next thing, here's some things that you will need to change actually in your price book. So I'm going to go to mass updates. And I'm just going to look for, let's look at some Marlboros. Okay. So here are all of my Marlboro packs. Got quite a few of them. So there is something called unit of measure. That's what the scan data reports call it. We call it product code. And that's basically telling the system in another field on the scan data report what it is. So whether it be a carton, a pack, a roll, a can, so on and so forth. We have a worksheet that's also on, I believe, MSA's website that tells you what acceptable codes there are. So if you have any questions about that and your rep hasn't already sent it to you, if you want to email into support at goftx.com, or sorry, support at fasttrackspos.com, or just call into support, any of us can give you the screenshot that we have that has all the codes that are allowed. But for this case, I'm going to show you how to do packs. So that field is right here, product code. And as you can see, I don't have any entered in. So I want to change all of these to have the product code of pack. So I'm going to go to field updates. I'm going to change this to product code. And I'm going to type in pack. And set selected field to new text. All right, so that changed my 58 Marlboro items to all say that they're a pack. And it's that easy. And then we can do the cartons as well. All right, we've got 62 of those. Again, no product code entered in. So you would just continue doing that for the rest of your price book for the items that you need to do it for. Again, the better your tree information is, the easier that's going to be. So if you're realizing while watching this that maybe you don't have all your stuff separated out this way to make it easier for reporting, might want to start working on doing that. You can also call into support and we can help you, give you some tips on what would be the best way to do your tree information. All right, so Another thing that we need to do is we need to deal with specials or promos. So those are going to be items that have a discount already packaged into it. Usually it's in the description of the product as well. They have their own UPC codes. So that would be like the ones that have 50 cents off. So like let's take these 75-cent off camels. I'm going to highlight them all and filter based on selection. So what we need to do is we need to tell the system that these are a promo pack. And then we also need to tell the system how much that promo pack is worth, which would be the 75 cents. All this is going to do is put the information into the correct fields on the scan data report because they want to see in an extra section that this was a promo amount. It's not going to take any extra money off and it's not going to affect the sales in any way. It's just for the reporting information. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to go down here and I'm going to choose promo and I'm going to say, yes, it is a promo. Yes. All right, let me filter back to those. Okay, and then I'm going to come down here again and when I go to promo amount and I'm going to say 0.75. So that's how you do it in mass updates. If you want to look at it from the actual items detail screen, I'm just going to click on this one for you. I'm going to go to additional information. And you can see right here the RJR promo reporting. It's showing that it is on promotion and it's 75 cents off. We do have another checkbox here for promo is a free item. It's pretty rare, but if you happen to have one that comes in that's like a free item for a promotional period. I remember a few years ago, well, almost a decade ago, when the Camel Crush cigarettes first came out, they did a promotion where you could get a free Camel Crush pack so that they could get you to try it. So that's how that would come in. But your rep would usually be the one that delivers those in hand. So you'd be able to get that information from them. And since I showed you the product code or unit of measure before, I just wanted to show you where that shows up here. So the product code is right here. So this one, you could manually change it. So if you happen to add in a new item, obviously you're not going to need to use mass updates to update that field. You could just do it immediately from here. Save it. Okay. So those are the main things that you would need to change actually in your price book on your items. So let's go over some stuff for buy downs. So we're going to go to buy downs. So here's my test buy down for some Winstons. Sometimes you can have multiple buy downs that for the manufacturer need to report as the same name. So usually that's going to be like the FGI or BEF Business Enhancement Fund transactions. So if you happen to have multiple ones that need to report as the same name, then you would put the name that it needs to be here. So Winston Packs. And then down here, you can put what name actually needs to show in the scan data report. So we can say FGI Winston. The receipt text, that's going to be whatever shows up on the receipt when the customer buys it. If you leave this blank, it will just put in the name of the buy down. Buy down group, this is something that was added, I think in the last year. I would recommend using this. Whenever you get really into it, you'll find that you end up having a lot of buy downs. So I would put in like manufacturer or brand to help you search because you can search by the groups up here. And it's a text field, so you can type in a new one, and then the next time that you save it and go into it, it would show up in the drop down as an option. So we're going to say Winston. Typically, it's going to be date range only. We have these other options as well. Part of carton would make it so you can put all of your packs and cartons in the same discount, and it would go by the breakdown amount. So if a pack was in here and it was, that means it's going to get 1/10 of the amount that you put for the discount. All right. So the other things that you'll need to enter for the scan data report, you just need to check this box for show and retail report. And then that will make sure that this gets reported whenever you show the sales for this department. Okay. So specifically, the show and retail report and the name and retail report are the only two things in the buy down section that are what need to be addressed for you to report correctly. We have a couple of webinars already on how to deal with buy downs and best practices for those. So if you want to go back and watch those, again, they're on our website. Plus, we also have documentation and regular training videos on that as well. So you can go and watch those on our website as well under FTx, goftx.com/lifeline. Okay, system discounts. So we're going to take this test discount and we'll call this one Marlboro 2-pack. We have webinars that go really in depth on all the different system discount types. So for this purpose, I'm just going to go over the information related specifically to scan data. All you'll need to make sure that is checked is for your discounts that need to report is flag as manufacturer and scan data. You need to check with your rep on if this 2-pack special is a loyalty special. Sometimes they do both. They'll have a 3-pack deal that is not loyalty, so anyone can get it, and then they'll have a 2-pack deal that will stack, that is requiring the loyalty information. So you would check loyalty if it's a loyalty one. If not, just leave it. Stackable just basically means it's allowed to stack. Be aware a non-loyalty transaction or a non-loyalty discount and a loyalty discount will always stack together on the same transaction if it is a loyalty transaction. And then all the limits and things, again, we have webinars that go over this, but just for scan data, you need to have the flag as manufacturer and then loyalty if that's required. So I'm going to go over a couple of rejections we normally get. The most common one, especially recently, isn't necessarily a rejection. It's actually more like a payment dispute. So that is on roll discounts. So typically Copenhagen. So let's take this test discount too, and we're going to call it Copenhagen roll. Usually you would come in and say you're going to buy one roll and you're going to get $2.50 off. Flag as manufacturer, usually not loyalty. And let's just go through May 31st. So this will trigger the discount correctly and it will ring up for the customer and everything will be fine. However, doing it this way will not flag it as a multi-pack deal in your retail scan data report. It's technically not a multi-pack because they are telling you that you can sell one roll and get the $2.50. But with the way the reporting is required, they are saying that this is a multi-pack because there's multiple cans in it. So what you need to do to make sure that it reports correctly is you actually need to change this. Most people will do 5 because a roll, it contains 5 cans. So we're going to do 5 here. We can leave the $2.50. And we're going to do the limit per sale as 1. That way it only gets one $2.50 discount for the transaction. And typically that's what the reps want as well. They don't want you getting multiple rolls at a time with a discount. So obviously you're not going to make your customers buy 5 rolls to get 1 roll discount. So what you would do is you would come in, you'd go to your Copenhagen items. I don't think I have any in here. Let me see. There we go. So we're going to go, we'll say all of these are our rolls. All right, so we'll just say all of these are our rolls. We're going to go to utilities. Oh, hang on a second. Actually, I need to refresh because I just saved that discount with a new name. So let me refresh my module. We're going to come back into mass updates. Once again, I'm just going to look for my Copenhagen. We'll just do these. Okay, so utilities, Copenhagen role, and we're going to add these as a point value of 5. That way, one of these roles will show up as the quantity of 5, which is what will trigger the discount that we just set with the quantity of 5. Let me go back over here and show you how it's going to look. So there you can see, well, there's my Marlboro Autumn from when it was a different discount. Okay, so all of these Copenhagen rolls have a quantity of 5. And again, the trigger is 5. So that means that they will immediately get the $2.50 off when they buy one of the rolls. If you have other questions on this, or you need to be able to do more of the discounts at a time, call into support and we can help you configure that. All right. So another common rejection that we see would be for incorrect or fake UPC numbers. So let's say, for example, you get an item in and you manually enter it in, but you accidentally put a letter in it. You're going to get rejected on that whenever you submit your scan data. So I think the most recent one we had was someone put in a new, I think it was a new Marlboro item, and they accidentally put the letter U at the end of the UPC code. So we had to come in and help them move the sales history and the inventory history from that old UPC number and put it in as under the correct UPC number that didn't have the letter U on it, so that they could get their retail scan data report resubmitted with the correct UPC number on it. So they're not going to allow alphanumeric UPC codes. They're also not going to allow anything other than a 12-digit UPC number. So you need to make sure that when you're entering in your items that you are entering in the correct UPC. If it's going to be a custom UPC number, it needs to be in a different department from what you are submitting your scan data from, especially for RJ Reynolds, or if you're doing Aom Data for Philip Morris. Another common rejection that we get, I'd already mentioned it before, but the loyalty UPC codes for Altria, these codes, again, you just need to make sure that you're reaching out to your rep, or anytime that you see them, make sure that your UPC codes for the loyalty transactions are correct. They change them at least once a year. I've seen it twice a year, a couple of times in the last 5 years that I've been here. So again, just reach out to your rep. They're usually not really proactive about telling you ahead of time. They usually wait until the end of the quarter when they go to do payouts to let you know that your loyalty codes were wrong and that they do not want to pay you for those transactions. So just try to be diligent about talking to your rep about that information. Okay. So another one that we commonly get would be unauthorized sale records. So that would be, let's say that you're a chain and you happen to open up a new store. You need to make sure that you're letting your rep know that you have opened a new store and make sure that you get approval to include that store on your scan data submissions, because they're not going to necessarily reject you for that, but you could be submitting this information to them for months and then realize at the end of the quarter that they're not going to pay you for that information because you were not authorized to add that store to your chain. So just make sure that anytime you're opening up a new store or even moving a store to a new address, that you are letting your rep know that has happened so they can get your scan data updated to allow for those transactions. Another issue that we see would be missing files. So as I mentioned earlier, we have a way to schedule your reports to automatically run, but sometimes that doesn't happen, whether it be because you had network issues at the time that the report was set to automatically run. It could be that your server was actually off at the time that the report usually runs, or it could be you don't have the schedule set up and you forgot to submit it. So all you need to do when you get that message is just come in and immediately run it. If you happen to get an error when you run it, of course, call into support and we'll give you some assistance. All right. And then the last common rejection that we see would be submitting data with the wrong ending day or wrong starting day. So like I said earlier, our report is going to automatically default to the correct date range or I guess day range. Philip Morris is Sunday through Saturday. And then RJR and ITG are Monday through Sunday. So if you have to come in and let's say you need to resubmit files because of one of the other issues we previously talked about, you need to make sure when you're coming in and choosing the date range that you are still sticking to that either Sunday through Saturday or Monday through Sunday date range that they've given you. And of course, if you have any issues, whenever you get a rejection, you can always forward those to web support at FTxPOS.com. That will generate a ticket in our ticketing system, and one of the techs or myself will get back to you as soon as we can to go over the information on why your file was rejected or explain some issues so you can talk to your rep about the information. So I know this one was a long one. Thank you for sticking out if you've made it this far. If you have any requests for topics you would like us to cover in our upcoming webinars, you can send us those suggestions at support@FastTracksPOS.com, and we'll be sure to review it and add it to our list for topics to cover. Again, we do these every Friday morning at 9 a.m. Central Standard Time. Thank you so much, and I hope you have a great day.